Most people treat their career like a lottery, hoping they'll just stumble into the right role or city. But hope is not a strategy. Your brain is naturally biased to stay in comfort zones and avoid risks that are actually worth taking. Today, we're using decision science to stop gambling with your life. I'll show you how to calculate your career bets so you can choose the right skills and locations with scientific precision, moving from accidental growth to intentional mastery. The career lottery. Why choosing a job based on feeling is a statistical error. People often treat a job choice as though a single moment decides everything. They chase a feeling and hope it lasts. In decision science, that is a statistical error. Emotions ride up and down, information shifts, and markets move in ways that a mood can't predict. The career gamble hides in plain sight whenever a choice is based on a spark of interest alone. If you want a reliable path, you need more than a momentary vibe. Think of a career as a string of bets. The career lottery is not a single ticket. It is a sequence where each move affects the next. Roles, cities, and skills are all tiny bets that can compound or cancel each other out. The key is to treat each choice as part of a larger plan, not as a one-off feeling. The skill stack matters here. Building a small set of flexible abilities makes future bets cheaper and easier to swap if better chances appear. The sunk cost trap lurks when you stay in a misfit role just because you have already spent time or energy on it. The cost of that backward glance grows quietly and makes future bets harder to size up clearly. A practical framework helps you turn feeling into information. The opportunity map is a picture of options arranged by how roles, places, and skills fit together. Start by naming clear goals, then sketch options that could move you toward those goals without locking you in. For each option, ask what you would learn, what new doors it would open, and how much you could test it with small experiments. Don't trust a single spark of liking. Test the bet with light steps, a short project, a side assignment, a micro-residency in a city that seems promising. This is how you add probability and paying power to choices, not just sentiment. To put this into practice, begin with a simple plan you can actually follow. Write down your main goal, then list what roles, places, and skills could help you get there. For each item, note a low-risk test you could run this month, a project, a course, a networking conversation, a brief stint in a neighboring city. Keep a log of what you try, what you learn, and how your sense of the odds shifts. Treat every move as a bet with a payoff if the odds turn in your favor. Don't cling to past bets that no longer fit. Adjust your plan and reweight your options. In the end, better career bets come from a steady mix of simple tests, flexible skills, and a clear map of where your bets can pay off. Sunk cost fallacy. Why staying in a job you hate because of time spent is destroying your future. Your career is a series of bets. The sunk cost fallacy shows up when you stay in a job you hate just because you've already spent time there. Time spent in a role feels like armor against risk, but it can trap you in a loop. Decision science frames this as a choice about future value, not past costs. Past investment is data, not destiny. Think of the current job as a stake in the career gamble. The question is, what is the best bet for the next move? More salary, more learning, more happiness. To beat the sunk cost trap, use a simple framework. First, name your options. Stay, switch teams, relocate, or build new skills. Second, estimate the future payoff for each option over a fixed horizon, such as 2 years. Third, compare the payoffs with a rule that treats time as a finite resource. Fourth, map the bets on the opportunity map. That map is a living chart of how choices connect to goals, cities, and skills. The skill stack grows when you learn new capabilities that compound over time. Example, a data analyst in a large firm loves solving puzzles but dislikes office politics. They consider moving into a product-focused role or joining a lean startup. Sticking with the current job because of time already spent promises salary stability but slows skill growth. Leaving could cut the paycheck now, yet accelerate product sense, user empathy, and cross-functional work. By measuring opportunity costs, the next 2 years may offer more autonomy and a clearer path to senior roles. The sunk cost trap tries to convince you to stay on a worse path because the clock already ran. To act, set a decision horizon, such as 90 days, and treat it as a deadline rather than a heartbreak. Run small tests, take a side project, enroll in a short course, or shadow a product manager. Keep a simple log, what you could gain in future value if you left versus if you stayed. Ask mentors for feedback and build a practical exit plan. Your future bets should guide you, not the weight of past hours. Expected value, a simple way to compare 2 jobs without overthinking. Expected value, EV, is a simple idea. Weigh what could happen by how likely it is, then add those pieces together. In careers, every job offer is a bet on your future, and the better bet is the one that pays off in the long run. You don't need fancy math to use it. Think of gains in two kinds: money you earn now and skills you carry forward. The aim is to pick the option that tends to deliver the bigger payoff over years, not just the next paycheck. To use it, start by listing outcomes you care about. Then judge how likely each outcome is. Attach a value to each outcome: money, learning, reputation, and happiness. Imagine you're comparing two jobs. Job A offers steady pay and strong coaching. Job B pays more upfront but carries less mentorship. If learning and future opportunities matter to you, the first job can have a higher expected value even if the immediate salary is not the largest. This is the heart of the career gamble, a mental model that treats a career path as a sequence of bets. Next, give each outcome a value you can understand. You don't need numbers, just tiers like low, medium, and high. For example, the chance of gaining new, transferable skills might be high with job A and low with job B. The chance of good short-term money might be higher with job B, but the payoff in skill and network could be larger with job A. Add up the weighted outcomes in your head. If a high-skill payoff seems likely and the current pay is decent, the total value for job A can win out. Think of the skill stack as your growing toolbox. Better jobs stack more useful tools for future work, which can boost EV over time. Then compare the two options on your internal opportunity map, not just the price tag today. Finally, keep the sunk cost trap out of the process. Past time and effort shouldn't shadow future chances. If the present EV of a path drops, it's wise to reevaluate, even if you've already invested a lot. Apply this across roles, cities, and skills. For instance, a role that offers great learning in a big city might yield a higher EV than a higher salary role in a remote setting, because the pluses you gain in visibility and network can compound. Use small experiments to test your assumptions. Take on a short project, request a mentorship, or try a temporary relocation, then reassess. With a clear EV lens, you turn the messy mix of options into a practical map you can trust, where each decision is a bet you're comfortable taking. Regret minimization, using Jeff Bezos' secret framework to make big life moves. Regret minimization is a practical way to steer big life moves. The idea comes from Jeff Bezos, and it rests on a simple image. You picture yourself at age 80 looking back. What decision would you regret not taking? That question becomes your compass for career moves. It treats your work as a series of bets, where the payoff is not only money but fewer future regrets. The career gamble framing helps you see each move as a chance to tilt your future toward what you value most. You choose actions that your older self would thank you for, not just what feels safe today. It is not about reckless risk. It is about pruning choices that would sting when time passes. A clear way to use this framework is to map your options as bets in three areas: roles, places, and skills. Start by naming the big bets you could place in the next season of work. For example, switching into a leadership role, moving to a city with growing opportunity, or piling up a new skill stack that opens fresh doors. Then imagine the 80-year-old you and ask what you would regret more: staying in the same lane or giving one bold move a real try. The trick is to translate that regret into a decision signal you can act on. This is where the sunk cost trap shows up. Do not let past gigs or comforts lock you into a path that your future self would question. Let the fear of regret, not the fear of change, drive your test. To apply the method well, ask a few practical questions that keep you honest. What decision would I most regret not taking? What is the worst that could happen? And how likely is it? How quickly could I learn what I need to know to test this move? These questions turn big life moves into manageable experiments. Treat each potential move as a test you can run rather than a leap you must take. Pair the questions with small bets, so you can gather evidence without overcommitting. The aim is to collect signals about growth, learning, and fit. If signals look weak, you can pivot with speed and minimize wasted time. The career gamble thrives when you connect it to your growth tools. The skill stack helps you build capabilities that widen your options and reduce regret. Adding practical skills that align with your desired future makes a switch less painful and more credible. The opportunity map works as a simple grid. Rows list roles, columns show cities or environments, and each cell hints at the potential upside and risk. By filling in this map, you can see which combinations offer the best chance of satisfying your long-term aims. You might find that a role in a thriving market paired with a small, focused skill upgrade yields more freedom than staying put with incrementally more of the same work. A concrete example helps make this stick. Suppose you are in a mid-career tech role and you sense a shift toward product leadership. Regret minimization nudges you to test that path rather than assume it will feel right later. You could try a cross-functional project that puts you in charge of a small product while keeping your current job. If the project teaches you the language of users, metrics, and roadmaps, you gain clarity without a full quit. If you realize you love it, you can plan a measured transition. If you realize it isn't a fit, you preserve your security while you reframe your next bet. The same logic applies to city choices. Test a move by taking on a project with a partner who operates in that market, or try a few months of remote work to sample life in a new place. The goal is to gather real data, not to rely on wishful thinking. Throughout this process, keep the focus on reducing regret for your future self. Use the framework to select roles, cities, and skills that align with what you want to become. Treat each decision as a bet you can calibrate with evidence, not as a final destiny. In the end, you build a portfolio of bets that balance risk and reward, and you stay agile to adjust as you learn. Regret minimization isn't about avoiding risk. It's about choosing moves that leave the least room for future what-ifs. The result is a career path that feels less like chance and more like a deliberate, scientific pursuit of your best possible self. Option value. Why learning meta skills is 10x more valuable than niche skills. Option value measures how valuable it is to keep future choices open. Meta skills expand that value because they travel across jobs and industries. In a career, you see this as more doors appearing when you learn to learn, to communicate, and to solve problems. The career gamble is real life in disguise. You place bets on roles, cities, and skills, and the payoff depends on how many futures you don't close off. When you stack meta skills, you build a flexible toolkit that ages better than a single niche skill. Think of the option value as a wider opportunity map. Meta skills act like a universal adapter that fits many ports, so you can move between product, marketing, operations, or startups without a full rebuild. The skill stack gets bigger when you add meta skills, because they multiply the usefulness of whatever specific skills you already have. The sunk cost trap tempts you to pour more into one niche, even when the market is shifting. Meta skills help you spot shifting winds and pivot before the ship is stuck in the wrong harbor. A practical framework helps you see the math behind this idea. First, map the likely roles you could perform in the next few years and note which cities or regions have growing demand in those areas. Second, compare two paths side by side, a deep dive niche path that locks you into one specialty, and a metaskill path that builds flexible capabilities. Third, test with small bets. Take a short project that uses your metaskills in a new context, then measure how quickly you can perform and learn in that setting. Fourth, guard against the sunk cost trap by re-evaluating regularly and treating past investments as sunk once market realities change. The goal is to keep the decision process scientific, not emotional, and to value breadth as a hedge against risk. How to start building metaskills today is straightforward. Learn to learn as a first metaskill, then practice clear communication, collaboration, and rapid experimentation. Create small, real projects where you test ideas with others and get quick feedback. Build a habit of reflection. After each project, note what you learned, what you could do differently, and where your skill stack helped or hindered you. Seek roles that mix teams and problems, not just tasks, because cross-pollination strengthens your metaskills. Pair this with a simple cadence: weekly learning goals, monthly projects, and quarterly reviews of where you can pivot next. Consider two concrete examples. A software developer who adds UX listening, user research, and storytelling can pivot toward product management or growth roles more easily than a coder who only hones a single language. A marketer who learns data literacy and experimentation can move between demand gen, customer success, and product analytics, expanding the number of viable options rather than narrowing them. These shifts are not magical. They come from repeatedly applying metaskills to different problems. The more context you test, the clearer the patterns become, and the bigger your option value grows. To turn this into a concrete plan, start by auditing your current stack. List your strongest metaskills and every niche skill you rely on. Identify at least 3 new metaskills to add in the next year, focusing on learning to learn, communication, and problem framing. Design a 6-month learning plan with small projects that force you to use these metaskills in new settings. Track how long it takes you to contribute, how much you learn, and how your opportunities expand. If you feel stuck, reframe a single project as a chance to practice 2 or 3 meta skills at once, and watch how your flexibility grows. The path to better bets is steady, visible progress, and a toolkit that stays useful even as markets change. Geography as strategy. Why where you live matters more than how hard you work. Where you live shapes the jobs you can find, the salaries you see, and the pace at which opportunities arrive. In practice, geography acts like a filter and an amplifier. It narrows the range of roles you will likely land and magnifies the value of your work through proximity to customers, networks, and mentors. This is the core idea behind geography as strategy. Think of it as the opportunity map meeting the career gamble. Your bets on places, roles, and the timing of skill builds. Your goal is to choose a place that makes your bets more likely to win, not just a place that pays the most. 2 people with similar skills can end up in very different outcomes simply because one lives in a city with dense demand and fast networks. Cost of living matters, too. If you earn the same money in a pricey city, you may feel pressure to work longer hours just to cover basics. Moving to a cheaper region can buy time for learning and side projects. The sunk cost trap can keep you stuck in a costly place long after it stops helping your career. A good geography decision looks at markets, networks, and the speed of opportunity. For example, tech hubs like large cities tend to have more roles in data, product, and customer-facing roles, while regional centers may offer stability and lower living costs. The career gamble here is about location choice as a bet on pipelines of work and mentors. Remote-first roles change this dynamic, but even there, your base matters for in-person collaboration and access to meetups. If you want to grow in a field like marketing analytics or software sales, being near a cluster gives you faster feedback, more referrals, and a chance to join teams before the company goes public. Use a simple framework to decide. First, map your top 3 cities for your field. Second, look at the density of employers and the kinds of roles that show up in those places. Third, compare living costs and the options for remote work. Fourth, test the network effect by reaching out to recruiters or alumni and asking about typical career paths. Fifth, beware the sunk cost trap and the temptation to stay where you are just because you started there. This is the geography as strategy mindset. Where you live is part of the bet. A well-chosen city can accelerate your progress much more reliably than just working harder. The skill stack and the opportunity map become clearer when you place yourself in a place that matches your bets. Your career is a series of bets, and geography is one of the biggest odds. Keep testing, stay flexible, and let the map guide your bets. Skill stacking. How to combine 2 average skills to become a rare 1% talent. 2 average skills, when paired well, can create a capability that stands out in the market. This is the core idea behind skill stacking. In the career world, you make bets on what you learn and how you apply it. The career gamble is about sizing those bets and choosing the best few to stack into a real edge. The aim is a rare 1% talent born from smart pairs, not from chasing one flashy skill alone. Skill stacking uses 2 ordinary abilities to unlock a new workflow. For example, data analysis plus storytelling. The first skill helps you see what's true. The second makes that truth easy to grasp and act on. 2 average skills become a slice of magic when they connect. The opportunity map helps you find roles and cities where this edge matters. The sunk cost trap can pull you back toward what you know, even when the market clues point elsewhere. Decision science adds practical checks, but it keeps its feet on the ground and in touch with real work. Here is a simple framework you can use. First, pick 2 skills that fit a real job you want or could reasonably move toward. Second, map the job to teams, companies, or cities that hire for that exact mix. Third, test quickly with small bets, short side projects or freelance tasks that use both skills together. Fourth, build a tiny portfolio of work you can show. Fifth, watch signals from real work. How often you land projects, the impact you make, the speed of delivery, the feedback you get. Don't chase a huge shift without proof. Small bets accumulate if they matter. Examples help bring it to life. Pairing basic data work with clear communication can turn numbers into decisions that executives act on. A person who can run simple data analyses and present the results in a concise narrative often lands on product teams or strategy groups. Another combo is basic coding plus user research. The code helps you prototype, and the research makes sure you're solving a real problem. Add in project management basics and you can shape end-to-end improvements in operations. Or merge customer support know-how with analytics to spot the root causes behind churn and then present fixes in a way that teams can implement. These stacks don't require mastery of both skills at the same level. They require enough competence in each to work seamlessly together and to prove value quickly. That combination is the backbone of turning ordinary talents into a standout edge. The pre-mortem. Imagining your career failure now so you can avoid it later. Think of a career as a series of bets. The pre-mortem is a planning exercise that looks ahead to a future where your career has failed and then traces back to the points that could have caused the failure. This helps you spot weak bets before you place them. In decision science, it's a risk check that helps you see which moves are safer and which are riskier. The framework centers on several ideas: the career gamble, the skill stack, the opportunity map, and the sunk cost trap. Used together, they turn decisions about roles, cities, and skills into a clearer map. First, name the possible failure mode. It could be a drop in demand for your field, a growing mismatch with the work you do, or a city that stops feeling like a good fit. Then describe the failure in detail. What happened? Who changed first? What signals would appear? List the early warning signs and the decision points that would lead you toward the failure. This is where the metaphors help. The career gamble reminds you that each job is a bet, and the sunk cost trap reminds you not to stay in a path just because you spent time on it. Next, build a practical guardrail to guide choices. Create an opportunity map that lays out several viable paths for your next move and compares them on fit, learning, and resilience. Grow your skills by strengthening a core set that transfers across paths, the skill stack. Keep the sunk cost trap in mind to limit overcommitment. Set rules for when to pivot instead of grinding along because of past time invested. Apply these ideas to 3 decision dimensions: a role, a city, and skills you could develop. For example, a software engineer weighing 2 routes might sketch a future where demand shifts away from their current niche. In the pre-mortem, signals could include fewer chances for advancement, a change in team strategy, or new tools changing how the work is done. To hedge, map paths that build a broader capability, like adding cloud fundamentals or data tools, while keeping core strengths in place. Finally, turn the pre-mortem into action. Pick a concrete test for each dimension. Try a new role through a small project, explore a move to another city through a short-term opportunity, or start building a transferable skill that works across roles. Set simple milestones and clear signals to stop or adjust. Review the plan at regular intervals and let real market signals guide updates. The pre-mortem makes it possible to see risk clearly and to steer your career toward choices that keep you growing rather than stalled. It treats the career as a sequence of bets, but with guardrails that keep the bets honest and the odds fair. Stop searching for a dream job and start making better bets. Your career unfolds as a series of bets you place over time. It's not about finding one perfect job. It's about making many bets that add up. Decision science treats choices as probabilities and payoffs, not promises. The career gamble invites you to view every move as a wager with a real chance of payoff. The aim is to tilt those odds in your favor. Think of the skill stack. The skill stack means blending abilities that fit and reinforce each other. For example, mix data literacy with clear storytelling, or pair project coordination with basic coding. Someone with customer support experience who adds even modest coding chops can shift toward product analytics or operations roles. Build 2 or 3 small skills at once, so each new ability makes the next bet stronger. The opportunity map helps you compare bets without chasing a myth. Start by listing options in 3 domains: roles, cities, and skills. For each option, note what market needs, how well it fits your strengths, and how risky it feels. Place options on a simple map by estimating rough chances of success and the kind of payoff you'd get: money, learning, and happiness. For example, a data-focused role in a company that uses data to guide decisions might pay well, match a growing interest, and offer clear growth, making it a solid bet on the map. A move to a city with high competition but strong opportunity in your field is a bigger bet, but it can pay off faster if you adapt. The sunk cost trap shows up when we cling to a path because of what we've invested, not because it's still working. Treat your career moves as experiments, with clear stop rules. Timebox a bet, measure progress, and be willing to pivot if the payoff doesn't show. If 8 weeks pass and you're not moving toward better roles, learning more hands-on skills, or bigger impact, that's a signal to reallocate your effort. Let losses become data, not declarations of failure. To start making better bets, run a few micro-experiments in parallel. Pick 1 role, 1 city, and 1 new skill to test in the next quarter. Create a tiny decision tree for each choice. What's the probability it leads to a better job? What's the payoff in salary? learning, and satisfaction, and what's the downside if it doesn't work out. Track actual outcomes, not feelings. If a bet proves valuable, expand it. If not, cut it and reallocate resources. This is how you build a practical, scientific approach to choosing your future, one measured move at a time. Here's the ending you can take with you. Your career is a series of bets. The career gamble can be smarter when you use a little decision science. Build the skill stack by adding small, useful skills. Create the opportunity map to compare roles, cities, and skills by value and by how easy they are to change. Watch out for the sunk cost trap. Don't stay on a path that stops helping you move forward. With these ideas, you choose roles, cities, and skills that fit your goals and your life right now. You test today, you learn, you adjust, and you keep going. If you're watching, you're deciding what comes next. You're not alone. You can start now with one small bet. Pick a role, a city, or a skill you want to try this month. Keep it small. Test, learn, and move on. Try the framework on your next decision. Tell me in the comments what bet you're thinking about and why you think it could pay off. In the description, you'll find a simple worksheet to guide you. In upcoming videos, we'll show real people using this framework, compare cities, and break down how the numbers look in real life. We'll also add a small calculator you can use at home to see the value of each move.